Night after night, I share my brother on stage, which can be really hard. I share the testimony of what God's done in the loss of my brother. And, I want to share, I want to share it so that it can bring hope to people and inspiration to people. But sometimes it's hard. I think at the beginning, when I first started sharing about him 3 years ago, I had to talk to my counselor about how do I talk about my brother every single night like this and not let it affect me. And so I've learned how to kind of place it to the side and talk about him in a way that I don't have to really face it, if that makes sense. But there are some nights that it hits me, and when it does, I think it's like for example, the first night of the My Jesus tour, we were in Texas, and I remember having this moment of realizing I would not be on this stage if it wasn't for the loss of my brother, and having a bittersweet moment of missing him so much, but also look what God's done in my life through the loss of him. And so I think some nights it hits me more than others, and when I get emotional, it's I try to pull it back together, but some nights I just can't. Some nights the reality hits me that Jacob really is gone and he's not with me anymore, and that he's not here. So I think it just depends on the night. I would trade all of it to have Jacob back for sure. I miss him so much. I think about him every second of every day. He's always in my thoughts and always in kind of my mission statement of why I do what I do. Yeah, so my mom's normally watching at front of house, watching me every single night. When I talk about Jacob and crying, and sometimes I see her, and when I do, those are the nights I want to bawl my eyes out. I think for her, just knowing what she's thinking in her head of the bittersweetness of my son had to die for my daughter to be on that stage sharing the gospel with those people. I think it's a hard thing for her, and it gets me emotional when I see her, definitely. One of the things that I really love about what I get to do is hearing the stories of how my music has helped people, and I think some of the moments that I can think of in my head that really stick out of this is why I do what I do is moments for example, on the My Jesus tour in the fall, there was a little girl that came up to me and told me that she had lost her brother too, and had tears streaming down her face, and just getting to hug her and squeeze her and encourage her in that moment that we're two sisters that lost their brothers kind of going through this journey together. That was really special. I think that helps me feel wow, what I'm doing is really worth it. The fact that God has given me an opportunity to be able to help other girls or other people go through the loss of a sibling or anybody, any type of loss, it's really cool. And I think I want my songs to really represent all I'm going through, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the good that comes from it. Before it breaks, when the storm rolls in and the sky won't quit crying. Rain in the Rearview for me is one of the two songs on the record that really talk about Jacob. I mean, I think every song has an element of Jacob in it, but Rain in the Rearview is really a song I wrote from my perspective of what it means to continue on. I'm never gonna forget Jacob. I'm never gonna fully heal or never be at a place where I don't miss him, but you have to realize how to move forward in life. You have to get to a point where you go, okay, how do I take one foot in front of the other? And so I think Rain in the Rearview is really just a song about moving forward from the pain and the loss of life. And leave the rain in the rearview. Dirt Roads in Heaven is a sweet, sweet song on this record that is all about my brother. When we wrote this song, I remember just after we finished writing it, kind of having a moment of listening to it in my car on the way home, reflecting on how beautiful it is and the message of it, of the sweetness of what I long for, which is heaven. And ever since my brother passed away, heaven has taken on a whole new meaning for me and my family. We crave heaven like we never have before. I long for it with everything in me. And I long to be with Jacob again in the passenger seat of his truck, driving down a dirt road in Kentucky and listening to some of our favorite songs together. And so capturing that in a song was really sweet. And all the hints that, my dog Hank and all the little hints throughout the song, it's a really special song. I think it'll probably be one of those songs that I look back years and years from now and just be so glad I wrote it, and a part of my story. So amazing as this season has been, I try to take moments here and there where along the way where I remember Jacob and where I came from and reflect on how I got to where I am now. And just remembering why I do what I do, and knowing that one day I will see him again in heaven, where there will be no more crying, no more tears, no more heartache, no more pain, but that everything will be made new, and that I'll get to live in eternity with him.
Oh, I'll be riding shotgun next to you.